My name is Nathan Johnson. My thesis is called Bastions or Brutes, French Anti-Semitism in the Press from 1894 to 1945. So this covers modern French history and the perception of anti-Semitism through the eyes of journalists and journalism. And it looks at the influence that government and personal ideology had on the propagation of this ideology. So the premise and the question basically falls into 5 different categories. The first thing I looked at is how were these publications controlled, whether the government had a stake in these publications or if they were just completely ideologically driven by the journalist or the editor. Next, you kind of follow that with whether or not they were propaganda machines or if these were individuals who kind of wholeheartedly believed the Jewish population were to blame for French downfalls or weren't responsible for anything. Then you'll look at whether these freedom fighters who were protecting these Jewish populations were done by clear conscience, personally motivated, or if it was career incentivized, if they were getting something out of it for supporting these people. Then we'll look at the personal risks that the journalists took from speaking their truths, and then look at the beliefs held by these individuals and whether or not they were influenced, specifically in the Second World War, by Nazi Germany. So there's 2 major events that I looked at just to kind of narrow my search, because if you kind of look at it strictly from 1894 to 1945, there's a lot of moments and a lot of information. So you can kind of get lost. So I narrowed it down to 2 major events. The Second World War, which famously has a lot, unfortunately, of anti-Semitic moments, and the Dreyfus Affair, which is a very famous anti-Semitic moment in French history involving a French Jewish captain. So within these 2 moments, there were 2 publications or authors in each that I chose. First being Émile Zola and Edouard Dumont for the Dreyfus Affair, and then Helena Vianney and Alexander Véron for the Second World War. So Zola and Vianney kind of came out to be the most definitive bastions of, or protectorates of, both French liberty and Jewish identity. They defended Alfred Dreyfus in Zola's case and French Jews, and supported French Jews in the Second World War in the case of Vianney. For Véron, it wasn't extremely apparent that he supported Jewish people. He had a couple of moments, such as one in which he complained to the French Vichy government about the treatment of French POWs who were Jewish. But he also had moments where it was kind of on the fence whether or not he was a true supporter of French Jewish ideology. And then Edouard Dumont, during the Dreyfus Affair, was clearly anti-Semitic, published papers, including caricatures of Jewish people and very exaggerated moments, and pushed an ideology of anti-Semitism and hatred towards Jews. With that being said, the impact of this is mostly what drove me to do this as my thesis. Especially today, unfortunately, we're seeing a lot more of a rise of extremism. Anti-Semitism is also on the rise as well again. So it's important to look back to the past and understand the implications that these ideologies can have, hopefully stop them from spreading again in the future. And more so, it also displays the impact that a journalist or a newspaper in general can have on a community and an ideology. Words are powerful, journalism is powerful, and this power cannot be taken lightly. It's important for everybody to understand the power of media and public opinion. So that's the major reason why I wanted to do this thesis. So thank you. Hope you kind of got an idea of what my thesis is. And again, thanks.